All right, guys, we're back in the building, back with some more boxing. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the like button, and all that good stuff. Now, guys, I want to talk a little bit more about the situation with Terence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. You guys know the talk has been for the last few days about the rematch. The rematch that Errol Spence Jr. wanted with Terence Crawford. He activated his rematch clause, and he wants the fight to be at 154 pounds. Now, in the previous video, I think I did it a couple of days ago, Terence Crawford's teammate, Steven So-Called Nelson, came out and said that Bud was going to offer the rematch at 147 pounds and not 154 due to the fact that they wanted to discourage Errol to take the fight because Terence Crawford was looking, at bigger and better things. He wanted to go and face Canelo at 168 pounds. Now, I talked about, how I was torn by that, how, I understood where, Bud's coming from and I understand where Errol's coming from. And I felt some type of way about him not, wanting to face Errol at 154 pounds. But after, pondering on it, listening to opinions of other channels, particularly Errol Spence Jr. channels, I've kind of had a change of heart on that. And here's the reason why. Here's the facts. The winner of the first fight gets to pick where the fight takes place, what weight class, 147, 154, whatever. It's at that person's discretion, and that person is Terence Crawford. So after listening to people saying that he's a snake and that he can't be trusted, I think that's a little bit overboard, in my opinion. He gets to pick it. It's at his own prerogative where the fight takes place. And knowing that, he doesn't really want the fight because he feels like he dominated the fight, which he did, it's kind of like him looking backwards. It's kind of like him looking backwards. And I know we put this narrative out that Errol Spence Jr. gave Terence Crawford an opportunity, which he made a lot of concessions. We know he did that to make this fight happen. But the simple fact is that both of these guys wanted the fight. The PBC did not want the fight. In order to make the fight happen, Errol Spence Jr., made some sacrifices. And it wasn't just for the simple fact that he wanted to give Bud an opportunity. We don't talk about that. The simple fact is Errol Spence Jr. wanted to be undisputed at 147 pounds. That's always been the dream. That's always been the whole narrative. Before he leaves 147 pounds, he wants to be undisputed. He's thinking about his legacy. He was thinking about his own legacy, not Terence Crawford. And also, he wanted to give the fans what they wanted. Both of the guys wanted to give the fans what they wanted. The talk, we talked about this fight for a long time. 5 years in the making, and it finally happened. So, Terence Crawford wanting to offer the fight at 147 is just him saying that I hope Errol doesn't take it because I really don't want that. I've been there. I've done that. I'm looking at bigger fish. I'm looking at Canelo Alvarez at 168. I'm thinking about my own legacy, which he should be doing. He shouldn't be thinking about Errol's legacy. He should be thinking about his own legacy. He wants to jump up 3 weight classes to face Canelo Alvarez or possibly the winner of Canelo Alvarez and Jermell Charlo, which takes place in a couple of weeks. So I don't think that Terence Crawford is a snake for doing that. I think Terence Crawford is thinking about his own legacy, which he should be. He should be thinking about his own legacy. Now, I've heard the narrative going around that, Terence Crawford is afraid to face Errol at 154 pounds. That's why he wants to fight at 147. I totally disagree. It doesn't have anything to do with that. Due to the fact that he wanted to face Jermell Charlo at 154, Jermell Charlo, in my opinion, is a much better fighter than Errol Spence Jr. A much tougher fight, I think, for Terence Crawford. And he wanted that fight at 154. And he wants to face Canelo at 168. So why would he be afraid to go up to 154 to face Errol Spence Jr., a guy that he completely dominated in a fight. It doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't compute. I just think that, you know, he sees it as looking backwards. But, you know, he's contractually obligated to the rematch, so he's going to make it at 147 to discourage Errol Spence Jr. But according to Blue Blood Sports TV, shout out to Blue Blood, he said he talked to Errol Spence's people, and, you know, they were going to take the fight regardless if it was at 154 or 147. So if that's true, my hat goes off to Errol Spence Jr. for being a true warrior. And we always known he was a warrior. I just think that he can't beat Terence Bud Crawford at 147 or 154. I just think the skill set is too dominant, in my opinion. And if they're planning on fighting in December, there's no way. In my mind, there's no way in hell he's going to be able to make the necessary corrections to defeat a guy like Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Bud Crawford is thinking about his own legacy. He's staying in his own lane. Now, he's probably going to have to face Errol, but, you know, it is what it is. But like I said, I had to change your heart on that. I don't really feel torn by it anymore because, you know, you got to put yourself first. I don't think he's being a snake. I think he's being strategic with his career. You know, he doesn't have a whole lot of time left, so he needs to do what's best for him. And I think a lot of times we forget that, you know, I think a lot of people feel sympathetic for Errol Spence Jr., which I understand. You know, the situation, you know, a lot of people expected him to run over Terence Bud Crawford, and that just didn't happen. I'm a fan of Errol Spence Jr., but I picked Terence Bud Crawford to win the fight because I saw the difference in skill set. And like I said, I understand where Terence Bud Crawford's coming from. I changed my mind on being torn by it. I think Terence Bud Crawford's doing the right thing. But anyway, I just wanted to get my opinion on that, guys. You guys tell me what you think about the situation. Do you think do you think Terence Bud Crawford's being a snake in this situation? Do you think he's doing what's best for his career? Would you watch the fight if it's at 147? You guys let me know how you feel about it in the comment section. It's the CMB. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. And I'm out. Peace.